Hi, Taurus rising sign. Here is your weekly forecast starting on the 24th of March until the 31st of March. If you are wondering, we are using Western Whole Sign House system, and there's quite a deep dive going on in your chart right now. The ruler of your chart is Venus, which is quite active still in your 12th house before it emerges into that first house at the end of the week. So while we have got this heavy structural work happening in your 12th house, which is about your subconscious, the sacred mission actually this week is happening in your 11th house. But let's have a look at what is happening. This week, we are taking your private dreams and then we are giving them a concrete foundation. Last week, we had the Sun and Neptune conjunction in your 12th house, and it might have felt like a spiritual fog or a bit of a deep exhaustion, feeling kind of like under the weather. And maybe you were kind of lost in your subconscious or your hidden goals felt kind of unanchored. But now the sun, that same sun runs into Saturn on 25th of March, and the dreaming is ending, and then the inner work is actually beginning. This is where you have to be setting firm rules for your mental health, and you have to commit to it, and you have to commit to that behind the scene project as well that you might have doubted or questioned last week. Saturn is here to help you build that structure around a bit of a solitude, drawing the line with others. Because last week you had a very heavy 11th house as well, and people could have been in and out of your life, but now I need a bit more solitude. And with Sun and Neptune, we might just have been, or we were just longing for it, but we couldn't give ourselves the time. Even if you are a bit vague about your healing or a sacred project, then this Saturn is really asking you to give yourself deadline, to give yourself a break. Now, March 27th, it might be one of the most important dates of the week because Saturn is actually in sextile to Pluto. And the initial conjunction happened in your ninth house back in 2020. So you planted the seeds there. And that was a total restructuring of your beliefs, your education, your worldview. You might have started studying something. So now Pluto shifted into your 10th house. So what am I going to do with that new belief system? What am I going to do with something that I studied around that time? So I can imagine that that moral grit that you picked up back in 2020, that hard-won wisdom, I'm gonna use that to my own advantage, and I'm gonna use that to power up my public reputation, and I'm gonna make a major career shift. This is about your psychological power that is going to be transferred into more of a public role. Maybe you have been working on a mission, in secret, but this is the week when you need to find a professional path that respects your integrity because they see that solid structure of that character that you have been working on. The sacred mission, like I said at the beginning of the video, is happening in your 11th house because we have got the Vesta and North Node conjunction. Vesta is about devotion, and North Node is pulling you towards the path that you should be on. So the 11th house is the long-term goals. It's about friendships, being around the right people, your long-term hopes. So this is about being committed to a specific group or a humanitarian goal or even a financial goal. This is about relying on your friends and being around the right people, like who are going to be supporting my, singular devotion. Also, this could really talk to you about you wanting to be actually making, like cutting out certain type of goals that might not be realistic enough. And then I'm just gonna go towards the one that is actually kind of potentially create me the right course of action. And also at the same time, I think it's about having that vision. Remember, the Northland is pulling you to find growth through radical devotion to the collective, to those groups that you are part of, to your own community. We also have got the Mars and Pallas Athene conjunction happening in your 11th house as well. So this is about a strategy to make the right social call, the right socializing, because they might be engineering, for example, your impact, your career, your salary as well. You might start seeing certain type of social patterns that are like in your social circles that others might be missing, and then you would be able to capitalize on that. It's brilliant for a community project to be launched, but it's not necessarily doing something forceful, it's just going with the flow a little bit. This is about recognizing some of the behaviors of people that you are surrounded by as well. We have got quite a heavy Cancerian impact also, which we spoke about last week due to Jupiter, Apollo, Isis, and Eros. But now Sappho joins the club as well. And this is about socializing, being part of something in your local community, or you just enjoy reading and writing. And this is actually perfect for a local breakthrough or feeling the deep sense of belonging in how you communicate and who you are surrounded by. But this is about you recalibrating your mindset a little bit. With Sappho, we can become a lot more poetic, a little bit cryptic as well. So you might want to be paying attention to that. But Venus is shifting sign, and Venus is going to enter your first house, but immediately squares Juno in your 10th house in the sign of Aquarius. So Venus, in the first house wants a bit of personal autonomy. It wants to beautify something within the body. It wants to be charming. Sometimes it wants to be a little bit people pleasing as well. But Juno is the commitment that we made to our boss, to our work. It's our public vows. So imagine that you want to treat yourself, you want to go for a massage, you want to take a personal day off. And then the boss is kind of telling you, yes, but you have got this professional meeting to attend, and then you cannot have it as a day off. So we've got this bit of friction here. And, while I want to be focusing on my well-being, but, you know, you might feel like that, yes, but I have committed to that public role and I need to be on. So, are you going to negotiate the price of self-care so it doesn't break your contract with success or, the trust put into you by the boss, or, which one are you going to do? So I think obviously with that heavy 12th house, Saturn would like you to fix your inner world. It wants you to kind of work towards your private goals, and it wants you to take rest as well when it's needed. But it wants you to stay within a frame of your own deadlines as well. And maybe that 11th house is telling you that you have got a mission that you can reach through socializing, and you need to be focused on certain type of a growth. But don't let your professional commitments swallow you up, your personal integrity, because you need a bit of a me time as well. I think you should be listening definitely to the general forecast, where I'm giving you a lot more clues about these meanings. I'm giving you the sensitive degrees. The most important aspect of the week for you is always the one that triggers your natal chart. I think there could be a lot of unexpected opportunities coming up for you. I think this week might make you a lot more curious, and then you can make discoveries, for example, among your friends. You can even potentially uh, gain insights from other people as well. But there is also this kind of like inner frustration potentially, or I just want to be kind of like winning and I'm kind of like going in the background so I can kind of master a project there. But this week could be even brilliant to go and start a diet, to do certain type of a sport, because Venus is shifting into your first house. And Venus rules your sixth house too. So that's something to do with the physical body. I also can imagine that you might want to go on a date, and Mercury is going direct. as well in your 11th house. And the 11th house is about potentially online dating platforms, but Mercury ruling your fifth house and making a connection to North Node as well still this week, it could indicate increased sexual appetite also. But this is while the 12th house is about hiding what we feel, but the 11th house is still about people gonna see what we feel. So, we only have got fire and water in the chart. So, when we put them together, it's very much about a bit of esteem. So it looks like you have got misplaced anger. Excuse me, misplaced anger issues as well, potentially. And Venus can help you calm down. While maybe a boss of yours is gonna test your patience a little bit, and then they might make you a bit angry. So good luck, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.